It's another episode of Open Class Doodles over here at the COACHMC studio. Tactical doodles for success. Whether you're a performer, a creator, an artist, an actor, an entertainer, these Open Class Doodles are creative open sessions, right? We welcome the creative community on Facebook, on Instagram, over here on YouTube, all the crazy, beautiful folks gathering together for self improvement, self growth, better understanding of their skills, of their craft, and also maybe finding new ideas, right? How to kind of find a trajectory, a North Star towards the future where you say, hey, this could be my navigating route, right, for future success. So, welcome everybody to episode number 14. And I'm truly happy about this one because over here at the COACHMC studio, we're all about coaching, we're all about self improvement. But there is one crucial fact that people get wrong about the self improvement movement, if you want to call it so, because it has become a global and international movement. And today we're going to illustrate what it is. And I'm truly pumped up for today's episode. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the challenge of self improving ourselves. And let's see what's cooking. It's been an incredible week. It's been incredible from the beginning of the year, to be honest. Our open master classes, our open class doodles. There's so much going on right now over here at the COACHMC studio. So definitely join the creative community, ask questions, bring your sweat, bring your passion, bring your endeavors, right? And let's try all to formulate a better success story for ourselves and for our environment, for our culture, because we're always, surrounded by like-minded people, or we should at least. And today we're going to explore how sometimes it can be. I mean, it shouldn't be always something that we, kind of hang upon forever, right? It's about taking action. And this is why we're having the studio over here also in the digital area. So thank you so much, Serena, for stopping by. Hi, Lorenzo. Thanks for sharing and for all the times you answer me and you explain to me why questions, Serena. Of course, you're more than welcome. Serena, this is what we do over here. And what people sometimes also don't understand, or maybe it's even just this thing about doing these classes with you and for you. It's also a way to improve ourselves right over here, because we as coaches, we learn like through your answers, through your questions, through your endeavors, how your tactic looks like. And so yes, I mean, of course, we're sharing information, but we're also receiving a lot of information. So we're really grateful for you guys stopping by and giving us that feedback, because through that feedback, and we're going to explore in today's episode. I'm Monica D'Emilio Tesoro. Ciao, Lorenzo. Ciao, a voi. We're going to explore through this episode what kind of stuff we're actually capable of that we don't perceive, because in this day and age, we are very much focused on on the production of things, like creating, solving the problem, serving, producing the content. And it's great to see you all here, creative community. Trinceri Mirko, Lorenzo PATANè. Ciao Lorenzo. Ciao a tutti. And I want to give a shout out also to everybody kind of watching also the replays and giving us feedback. It's great to have you guys, and through this feedback we learn a lot as well. So for us, it's a great opportunity. For you, hopefully it is as well. And don't forget, we have free to register monthly master classes where we dive into very specific topics, way more granular than over here at the open class doodles, where we explore all the beautiful tools and that we have in our toolbox as creators, as artists, as athletes, as performers, as entertainers. And we have this incredible chain of master classes where we talked about the audition process. Next one is going to be volume 3, so hopefully you stop by. You can find the tickets on Eventbrite or through the link tree on my Instagram. There's definitely always a chance to connect with me through the various social media platforms if you have any further questions. Oh, look who's there. Dragon Slayer Commentaries is in the house as well. What an honor, sir. Probably next Tuesday, right? We're going to have our next one where we're going to illustrate the age of the the more recent age of Greek mythology and the age of the smaller units of heroes. Okay, so today, guys, I'm really pumped because you see, when we're talking about self-improvement, when we're talking about growth, when we're talking about kind of getting to the next level, right? Because we want to earn more money, because we want to start being more recognized, we want to create more traction around our products, have more fun in the process with our art, right? There are so many things, right, where we kind of get our for sure, man, it's gonna be great. Where we gonna drain our instruments from, right? We can read many resources and apply them and kind of think about all the products that we can produce. But the thing here is, hello Sasha, hello. What is it really that we learn? Because we are very much focused, like I said, with the creation. But I think what's more crucial sometimes, and what people get wrong about the self-improvement, is to establish something for yourself. Truthfully, brutally honest, like, was this good or not? What can I learn from my performance? Besides all the people, all the stuff that I can hear is like, are there any instruments of self-analysis that I can establish in order to get better on my own as well? To not rely too much on the exterior input, besides, of course, the truthful measurement and effective measurement of our impact, of our creative impact. But besides that, for ourselves, we need to have a habit. We need to form inside of ourselves like a process of how we actually break down our performances, how we analyze what we have created in order to get better. Vero seguirti dall'Italia, Trinceri, e vedere Tempeste d'Amore. Grazie mille. Sandra Fontenot, super, thank you so much. Sascha Benz, guten Abend zurück. Schön, dass ihr alle da seid. So what I mean by that, and I will show you that because I'm all about visualizing the process, right? If you're here for the first time, guys, first of all, kindly consider subscribing, of course, and leave a like, right? We have this opportunity because YouTube gives us this opportunity. But if you really like what you are seeing, what you're hearing, if this information is valuable to you, make sure to let YouTube also know what you like to see in the future. It's not just to support our endeavor, but to make your improvement on your side, right? All the videos that you get recommended, to get them more kind of streamlined and tailored to your request, to your necessity, to your what you deem like entertaining and important. So make sure to hit the like button as well, guys. Is the Ikigai method you talked about last time useful also for our improvement? For sure. Ikigai is all about the improvement, right? And like we said last with the Ikigai lesson, it's all about finding also what the audience needs and how we can kind of, cater to the audience through our own story, through our own instruments, through our own experience, something that is unique. So to give both what they need, you improve and, the audience gets satisfied by your entertainment, your product, your service. So both have a win-win situation here. And we want to work for that because it's truly possible. It's not some fanfare, right, that is coming out of the circus. Oh, win-win. It's possible, right? It's absolutely. This is where the new economy meets digital communication, because now we have the possibilities that we didn't, have, that we didn't appreciate in the past 30 years ago. There was no way for us, middle class, low class, high class, whatever type of people coming from a specific niche, delivering exactly to that specific niche somewhere in the world, and finding people just through the mind of the algorithm that kind of gives us the opportunity to connect. So that's pretty amazing stuff today. And I feel like we're not taking enough out of it, right? We're not using this fully. And like I said, this is a reflection, guys. Don't take me out of this equation. For me, what I'm saying to you is also valid for me. I walk the walk and I talk the talk. So it's also me that is confessing to you guys that probably I could do more and I should do more if I want more, right? But what is more? Because today, with this doodle, we're going to explore tactical doodles for success, that more is not automatically better, that we need to install, like I said, some sort of a blueprint for ourselves to finally kind of address and assess honestly, truthfully, hey, what works and what not, and for what reason. So let's dive right into it. So what we have here is my program. So this is really stuff that is pretty premium, guys. This is usually something that I share with my students or my clients. And it's a method that is actually just a tool on how to see this whole and perceiving this whole thing. And this is part of the, of the course of the program that I offer over here, that we offer over here at the COACHMC studio. And by the way, if you're interested, you want more information, if you want to work on something, contact us through readytoperform.com. Send us a message. We can set up a discovery session, 15 minutes, Zoom call, whatever it is that you like. And then we find out if we're a great match for each other, right? But one of my pillars that I've used personally also, my process of kind of, being on set, communicating, working for my clients, all this stuff, right? Because there's a lot of information in my head. But how can I turn the information in my head that is coming out from so many sources, how can I turn that into an effective instrument, right? Because every brain, like we know from Albert Einstein, is potentially the most powerful weapon in the universe, but it has this little flaw called its user. It's us, right? The user sometimes is weak, or let's say it the other way, it is inconsistent, not matching his potential because he hasn't received the instrument. So let's take care of those instruments. What I say here is whenever we are facing, let's say we are public speakers, right? Public speaking program over here at the readytoperform.com website is very popular. More and more people want to impact the camera, not only actors, right? And so public speaking has become like a very, very important, like I would say, crucial skill for presentations, all sorts of, kind of very important sales pitches. So we have this public speaking program. Let's assume now, just for the sake of it, we want to apply this to public speaking. So I want to get better with public speaking. Okay, sure. So there's a lot of structure that goes on into, improving your skills, right? There's a lot of structure in terms of resources, research, all that stuff. And you set up a program, you write a script, you do everything that's necessary. Hey, Classic Cage is in the house as well. What's up? What's up? Great to have you here. Thanks so much for stopping by. And find it more tailored for you. I like that. Yes, let me know, guys. Yes, because it's tailored. Every performance, every video. I mean, look at these amazing content creators over here called Classic Cage, Dragon Slayer commentaries from our Saturday night hypnosis therapy session. Like, we're all very, very specific in what we do, very tailored. It's not just a uniform way of delivering entertainment. We're thinking about different things. We have this common ground of, let's say, geek and nerd culture, but everybody kind of, manifests that in a different way. So let's say you wanna finally, step up your public speaking, skill. You wanna finally communicate better with people, which is like an essential skill in today's time. So you set up the structure, and then chaos comes in when you have to perform because nervosity kicks in, stage fright kicks in. But whatever, you master your delivery. You had, your script, you performed it, and usually this is where everybody stops, right? It's like, if you think about a great restaurant and a mediocre restaurant, the great restaurant thinks after serving the plates, why have my clients, my customers, my guests today in my restaurant not eaten up? Or why have they eaten up everything? Because the structure that comes after the chaos, after the performance, you have an initial structure that sets up everything. You have the script, you have all your secondary information, and then you put in the performance. That is the chaos. But the structure that comes afterwards, asking yourself really effectively, hey, why did this work tonight? Or why didn't it work? And that stuff, that post-reflection, that is where wisdom comes from, according to Aristotle, right? He said wisdom is the sum of experience plus reflection, because you can practice something for a long time. If you don't reflect about what you practice in an effective way, you can practice the wrong stuff for what it's worth for years, and you would never improve. But we are in the self-improvement game, guys. Over here, I mean, this has become like a fluid type of community. The cities, the job, economy. I mean, it's getting more and more fluid. So when we don't have that type of awareness for what we can offer, how good we can offer it, then we will just get washed away with the stream. Let me know if that makes sense to you guys. I agree with the sense that more don't always means better. That's good advice. I mean, definitely practice. Volume is super important, right? You need to practice a lot, but you need also to drain the right information out of your practice, because you can always focus on the wrong stuff. And for you, you assess everything works fine, but then you don't see your numbers going up. So you need to be radically honest. And this doodle today shows you, or at least it gives you an idea on how to do it. So I guess I want to invite you to be your own coach. You know, be your coach, because in the end, this is the most important coach is you. You can get different opinions, different ideas, different instruments from all sorts of sources, and that's truly important. But you are ultimately the one that distills everything, that puts it into a channel and says, okay, I'm going to run with this. Now I'm going to, take the courage. And so what makes the difference between a mediocre restaurant and a great restaurant, between a mediocre performer and an astounding, amazing performer, somebody who really delivers stuff that blows you out of your seats, right? There are good actors and there are absolutely phenomenal actors, right? Where is the difference? I think it is when you're practicing your craft, the difference is on how you process the information and nothing else. And therefore, I have drawn this character over here. You can write how this character, like what's his name? I don't know his name. Also on Instagram and Facebook, let me know what you think what is this guy's name, right? And we are pretty much like that. We have an antenna. We are very sensitive people, and we receive information. We receive data points on a daily basis. We go out on the street and we receive information, colors, signals, sonar information, visual information, advertising, billboards, music coming out of the stereo, radios playing. It's all over the place. So we receive a lot of information, but our task as an artist, as a creator, as someone who wants to improve, as a performer, right? Our job is a little bit to filter what is the useful information here. Because like I said, every brain potentially is the strongest weapon, but our flaw is that sometimes the information that comes in doesn't really get processed in an effective way, or we focus on the wrong information, on the wrong data. We assume it's data, but it's actually just noise. We need to link with the signal, with the code, with the clear message. And so therefore, I think the great entertainer is the entertainer that processes, that analyzes, that understands, that has a system of understanding how his stuff works, why it works, and how he can improve it. So every difference is how we kind of organize this information, how we set up a habit. What's up, RC0606? It's great having you. I've been watching in the shadows, of course, watching the shadows. Are you a phantom? Are you like to do that? Are you like you have to kind of let me watch while others are performing? You like that, right? Interesting. No, jokes aside, thanks so much for stopping by. So ask yourself, if experience plus reflection equals wisdom, and wisdom is everything I need to, let's say, understand where my flaws are in my public speaking, performance, right? I mean, how many things are there when it's about public speaking? It's, of course, how is my voice sounding? How is my delivery? Am I using a lot of mental fillers? Do I have a lot of gaps in my speech? Do I think a lot and I do a lot of, automatisms and mannerisms? Is my physical behavior substantially kind of supporting what I'm saying? Is my physical behavior off sync with what I'm saying? Am I in tune with my message? All these things, right? There's a lot of beautiful stuff that we can explore in a public speaking program. It's a lot of fun, by the way. It's like almost like acting. And why am I offering this? Because I'm coming from the acting background, because actors get trained to exactly kind of reflect on how they, impact the audience with a certain impression of someone, right? Because sometimes I play maniac, sometimes I play funny guy, sometimes I play an introvert, sometimes I play like an extrovert. Like every scene can be emotionally charged in a different way. So we need, in order to have a career as actors, right, we need to have a good awareness of how we actually impact the audience, if the stuff that we're doing works and why it works. And so to us, at a certain point, it became like a natural transition, offering this coaching also to public speakers and not only actors, because a lot of the public speaking, let's say, a lot of the hallmarks of public speaking that are truly important, one of the cornerstones are also cornerstones of the acting endeavor. And so therefore they kind of cross pollute each other, whether it's the vocal display, whether it's the gesture that you display, whether it's your appearance in itself, the stuff that you think behind your eyes, all that stuff. So for us, it's natural as actors, or let's say it should be natural. We get trained for that self-awareness, but not for everybody. I mean, a lot of people out there don't have a clue how to self-analyze, how to be self-aware. I mean, yes, they see it on YouTube. They probably have an idea how to meditate. They take their habits out of their daily schedule or their weekly schedule to kind of, come back to their senses as well. But like, how can I process the feedback from my performance correctly? Like, what are the effective self-analysis instruments? And there's a lot of stuff that we can do. Let's say we're public speakers, and of course we record ourselves. First of all, we record our voice maybe, right? Without a video necessarily. And then we just listen to it. Does this sound like a nice, appealing, beautiful voice, confident sounding, information giving pitch? Is this a cool monologue? Is this a nice soliloquy? Can I listen to this? And then you look at it visually, you record a video, and then you analyze that. Hey, did I behave weirdly, or was this adequate? Can I improve something? Can I insert something dramatic to kind of emphasize an argument? All these things. And then you ask people who are really like of course, in your circle of trust, that know you, your peers, your family. You go to certain events where people are there that are professionals, and you show them, right? You show them what you're doing and kind of get their feedback, and really understanding, hey, am I improving? Are my mind fillers going away? Are my gap fillers going away? Am I really canceling out my ams and uhs and my sighing? Is this really getting to a fluid delivery? Am I holding the same energy level? Am I stable throughout my soliloquy from the beginning till the end? Have I explained all my points, all my bullet points? You can trace that back. It's just a couple of months of work that you have to invest, but you will understand. Don't know what just happened. I think it just happened. All right, let's just assume it didn't happen. But it happened. What happened? That is a good question. I love when things are getting a bit, adrenaline charged. So welcome back, everybody. It's been beautiful. Are you with me? Have I lost you so far in the process? Is this somehow resonating with you? Let me know what you think of this, right? Write down some comments, or just come over as well over here. No, the establisher tried to sign its commercial. Yes, this is what happens when we are truth sayers. Yeah, that could be. It could be. But Dragon Slayer, let me know if you can hear me well, if the video is all right, if I'm not dragging or anything. That would be super cool to have like a very quick feedback. I don't know what happened. I'm back. Wait, he's back. Let me know, guys. Serena, the coaches appear. Hey, that's a magical trick. I wanted to spice up stuff to see if you're really listening. Of course, that was part of the show. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Your audio is good. What is the singing good? Montel Jordan, please forgive me. All right. Sure. All right. So let's get back. So you get the deal, right? So let's say you have that type of wish to kind of improve your speaking, your speech, your vocal abilities and sonar abilities. Then there are, of course, very good instruments that you can install for yourself in order to kind of understand if you're getting better, if you're really improving. And because, when you control your speech and you can effectively communicate your ideas, because this is in our day and age, everything, right? If we can communicate our ideas, we have a business, we have a brand, we have a YouTube channel, we have a service, we have a career, we have everything. If we can effectively communicate our ideas, be honest, truthful, and entertaining at the same time, and still giving information. I mean, this is what not only the algorithm, this is what our brain loves. And guess what? The algorithm is programmed to function like a brain, just a bit quicker, even though it's almost impossible to function quicker than a brain. And so therefore, this is basically what we're doing in order to have success, being effective communicators of our ideas. And with that, our confidence rises up, our courage gets bigger and bigger. You know, we start playing more with contrasts, right? With stuff that is clashing against each other, because that makes our speech more compelling. If we use crass and very strong images, right? Strong in terms of like, yeah, very, very dimensional, very plastic, right? I understand what he's talking about. And he's using these, you know, these polar forces in his speech. This is where I understand, oh, this is important stuff. So a lot of contrast is important. It's, of course, more difficult to illustrate that, right? And to still keep the dramatic effect alive while also delivering essential information. Because sometimes when it's about public speaking, it's not necessarily about entertaining. It should be a factor of it, especially when you have like in a 60 minutes keynote. But it's of course, the information also that you want to convey. So both have to be in there. It's slow. It's you know, a bit of a risk, but this is what makes the speech great. When you have those collision of ideas, of forces, when you combine these methods. And, you know, I wrote down curve because I love curves more than straight lines. And what I mean by that is, you know, coming back to what we're talking about, it's structure, chaos, structure. And today we're focusing on the last part, on really analyzing effectively what just happened there. If the structure that I placed in before my preparation for, let's say, this public speaking program for this keynote, if that was effective, if that covered everything that I needed, if that kind of, you know, was, you know, kind of delivering all the informations and everything else and giving me my limbic brain also a little bit of information, kind of triggering my visceral side of it. And then the chaos, that is the performance, what worked and what not. But this today, and we're definitely going to have some open class doodles also on the previous steps, but today I want to focus more on this because, again, I think this is what most people get wrong when it's about self-improvement. This is the one detail that everybody misses out on. When we are looking at what we do, we have to understand the audience brain. And the audience brain works pretty much according to the reptilian center. And I mentioned this a lot, and there's a great book, Pitch Anything by Oren Klaff. This information doesn't come from me, it stems out of his book. And of course, other books where I kind of gathered similar information, but Pitch Anything, short book, so clear, beautiful content, blows you away and will improve your speech, your acting, your performance, your way of thinking of selling and pitching your product, and it will change it for sure, for the better, for sure. So definitely highly recommend to read that book. But if you once understood how the reptilian center works, the audience brains, what they want, it's basically, and there are many good examples for that. Elon Musk, Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan, there are many great examples on, you know, how great communication works, right? What these people, these masters do in order to kind of, and I did this on purpose to write it in K, right? To spark controversy, to, you know, insert humor, to have compelling information, and to kind of, you know, trigger emotions. So if your speech triggers those reactions and you perceive that, right, by analyzing back to what you just have delivered and kind of seeing, hey, I perceive those reactions. Now I ask myself, and I do this as correctly as I can. So, for example, if I record myself, let it sink for a couple of hours. Don't go immediately back to your material. Like what I would do on set, I would never look at my own rushes on set when I'm acting. I barely go to the monitors. I barely go. First of all, to me, it feels like I'm intruding the director's space, right? I mean, I know from my wife, who is a script supervisor, and she has all sorts of folks like assaulting her when she's shooting a movie or a series, right? So you don't want too many people in the combo, like, you know, but sometimes actors have that type of habit of going to the director and double checking if the rush was good, but they actually want to see themselves. All right, let's admit it. They just want to satisfy their ego. I think that's wrong. Michael Caine writes about this in his book, Acting in Film, and that works for all sorts of communication. Like, don't look immediately at what you just created. You are too emotionally involved. Of course you're emotionally involved, like Spock in Star Trek, right? You can't really objectively perceive what you're doing. You're over-criticizing yourself, most likely, if you immediately watch your material. You're over-exaggerating and picking yourself apart. You're not really constructively looking at this, right? So let it rest. Let it sink in for a couple of hours. Come back to it later. And now look at it. And it's like, what worked? Why? Repeat that. And here is the thing. And maybe this is going a little bit off topic, but I just want to include this because I had this discussion with a client of mine, and she was offering this yoga course. And I think it kind of makes a point. Just hang with me. Once I had this yoga teacher that I was coaching, and she was about, kind of offering these courses, and she was working on the countryside, not in a like metropolitan area, like not in the big city. And she had these courses, and she wanted more people to join and attend. And because she wanted to rent out bigger rooms, and she was investing a little bit in her marketing, and I coached her about finding her story, her narrative inside of that. And so I asked, like, have you correctly addressed why people are coming to your courses? And she's like, what do you mean? It's like, why are people showing up to your yoga courses? What is the reason for them? Well, because I'm teaching yoga. It's like, are you sure? Because why are they coming to you? Why are they not going to someone else? Hey, Melanie. Good afternoon to you as well. Thanks so much for stopping by. It's like, well, I mean, there's no one else there. Okay. Interesting. So on the countryside, you were the only one proposing this type of content. So that's why they stopped by. So it wasn't really necessarily that you were doing a great yoga. It's just that you were the only one offering it, which is, of course, not bad. But if you want to improve your yoga, maybe you should find out why they're really there in the first place. And so what she did is we compiled, I'm running this a bit quicker. We kind of, talk back and forth, spamming over a couple of sessions about this and how to really understand why people are coming, why they are showing up to their yoga classes. And in the end, she kind of compiled this tag with 10 questions, why they're there. And we found out that most of the times it was the day and the time, it was just perfect, because most people, it was like Tuesday, 4:30 p.m. And so mothers had not to work. Their children were still in kindergarten. Men were usually, coming from work or still at work. So it was a perfect time for the ladies, because it was like mostly visited by ladies. It was a great time for them because they were just free at this point of the day. And so it was just a perfect timing without her intentively like looking for it. And so when you're looking back at your performance, you say, sometimes it's not really the content, it's just the timing. It's just the context. It's just right for that moment. And if you have that, that is not a bad thing. That is, by all means, that is a great thing. It is definitely part of a successful product, right? To launch it at the right time, or to have a context set where everybody else is free. And so, generally, naturally, hey, it's countryside. They don't know what to do. They have a couple of hours off. Hey, there is somebody offering yoga classes. Maybe that's also a great way and an opportunity to meet other ladies. And so what I told her is, like, give out some tea every time they come, right? Just buy some expensive tea and have like a little tea ceremony at the end so they can network and talk. And that's what they did. All of a sudden, they started like staying there for longer, and now buying also some merchandise from the yoga teacher, booking some other classes. And so it became more like an event. It wasn't itself yoga that was so great. It was the opportunity, the time slot, and everything around the context that was so great. The same thing is true for restaurants. I also I have one of my clients who's owns multiple restaurants. And so we talk a lot about, how do you know that they emptied your plate? What is your post-service structure in order to establish whether or not your food was great? Yeah, but they ate everything. Yeah, maybe they were just hungry. Maybe they were just, gentle. Maybe they were just nice people. They just thought, all right, I'm going to eat this up. I don't want to have any discussions. Maybe they were just upset, and so they ate it because they were hungry, because it costed money, but they didn't like it. So how do you know that they like it? It's like, what do you mean? The plates are empty. Yeah, but there are multiple reasons for the plates for being empty. It's not necessarily that you cooked well. So you have to find out what they liked. And so he started playing this game with different cubes, like asking people like random questions about their life, and then kind of giving them like a glass of bubbles, like a prosecco or champagne. And then he would like slip in like a question: did you like something specific about my creation today? And then they would give a more organic response instead of saying, oh yeah, it was great, thanks so much. Now all of a sudden we're giving some like specific answers about the food, the preparation, or the service, so he could get way more out. He would pay them because he would basically offer them, some champagne or prosecco or something like a limoncello, right? So he would invest something in the post-analysis structure, and that will give him way more feedback about how his performance was as a cook and as a restaurant owner. And therefore he kind of improved already through that some of the processes that go into the production of the pizza and the food, because he kind of learned that from this type of information what could be fixed. So again, preparation is the structure before, execution is the chaos in the middle, right? Why do I say chaos? Because everything can happen while you're performing, unexpected things. So you should react. You should be open to suggestions, to impulses. This is where we are live. This is what the casting directors like to see, right? Where finally you are happening. But afterwards, you should have like a structure in place that makes you reflect accurately, sharply, and effectively about stuff that should be implemented in the future in order to make this chaos more compelling. Does this make sense? I hope it does. No, but I think this is what most people really lack to teach also, because it means to look at aspects like mental toughness. I get that. It's not a sexy thing to say to your clients, hey, you need to, toughen up a little bit mentally. But it's true, because I want you to be a self-sustainable, self-regulating organism. I don't want to create parasites over here. My wife doesn't either. We want free time. We want to enjoy our lives, right? We want to give you very powerful instruments and analyze if they're really working, but you should be, going on your own. A lot of coaches have the tendency, there are some coaches who have the tendency to create those puppets. Oh, come back to me. You need me forever. No, we actually want you to be self-sustainable as much as you can. And therefore, you need to understand if you're processing the information correctly, because the way you process information is, there is this tale about the twins who grew up, and one became super successful and the other one became a criminal who went to jail. And both are, they're both saying, when you ask them like, hey, what's your secret to your success and what's the problem for you ending up in jail? They both were kind of, saying the same thing. It's because of my father. Because my father was a criminal and was very violent. So the one who became successful processed the information of the violent father, saying, hey, I don't want to be like that. I need to find out why my father is so violent and why he's such a dick. And it's like, oh, because he's frustrated. Why? Because he hasn't a proper job. Why? Because he, maybe he didn't study, maybe he didn't believe in his dreams. Why? Because of many reasons. Some of them might be even valid, but nonetheless, right? I have to take everything into account. I have to create that mental toughness and say, hey, there is this coming to age type of scenario here where I have to learn that my icons are also able to fail. And why did my father fail? So the one is successful because his father was a violent asshole, and the other one failed because his father was a violent asshole, because he decoded the information differently. He processed this abusive and dark and bad behavior of his father by blaming himself, right? He said, oh, that's my fault. It's for sure my fault. No, my father, and was making up excuses for his father's behavior and seeing in him like a companion, because misery likes company, as we know. So he was going down to his level instead of analyzing what was wrong with him. He asked himself, like, what's wrong with me? And therefore he never escaped that vicious cycle of repeating the mannerisms of your ancestors, right? Of repeating the mistakes of your ancestors. So he fell into the same trap. So you need to develop that mental toughness. That means that you need to, you allow yourself to fail. You have that today, in today's day and age, guys, we have that incredible, like, you just put on your phone, record yourself, you show it to people, people laugh about it, they don't like it, you look at it, you allow yourself to fail. Go out, speak to people, look up for some masters, show them what you got, and they will tell you what's wrong with it or not. And this is the stuff Yeah. Whoa. Thanks so much, Rex. This is the stuff that makes you better. This ability to fail. And thanks so much, man. Appreciate it, Dragon Slayers. I always thought I was overthinking stuff. No, no, it's me. It's definitely me. Don't worry. Look at my doodles, right? It's definitely me. Um, but this is the ability also to show that mental toughness and to say to your ego, you know what, we will fuck this up a couple of times, all right? So hey, stay in your place, be quiet, because your ego can be a very opportunistic being, right? In terms of, if you decide to use your ego to get better because you are all of a sudden awakening your competitive edge, that's a good way of using your ego. Your ego will always be there, but in order to use your ego, you also have to show your ego his limits, his boundaries, his frontier. And his frontier is also to accept criticism and to kind of, take in everything in order to not have to face any more of that or any major criticism anymore. Because, the more we face, the more we can learn. So allow yourself to fail, allow yourself to go to your ego and say, hey, we have this comfort, nothing is going to happen, look at where we are, we're living in this incredible world. And hey, last time during the masterclass, we had people from Malaysia tuning in, we had people from Zaire tuning in, we were having audience members from Nigeria, from the UK, we have all sorts, like from everywhere on this play, like from the Philippines. I mean, it's just great that people are all listening and waking up to themselves and saying, hey, I have more capabilities than this. I don't need to be satisfied. I just need to tell myself that it's okay, that I don't have all the answers right now, right? I'm going to try out some stuff. I'm going to fail, but it's going to be okay, right? I have the opportunity. It's tremendous privilege. So let's go into that. And we need to develop that, mental toughness in order to be our own coach, in order to be self-reliable, in order to be not parasites that are always in search for the next mentor, for the next pill, for the next piece. That's nonsense, because then you're just you're fueling the wrong channel. You're not fueling the channel of your success anymore. When you're doing that, you're going into the wrong direction. So here what we have is this idea that this coachability of ourselves comes also from a place where we are surrounded by truth sayers. And that is truly important, because we can do so much, but if we have some outlets where we know this person is objective, I know that for a fact, right? Or I can even pay a person to be objective. I can call a coach and say, hey, I want you to be present tonight. I pay you all the hours, right, that you would usually kind of spend with me. And I just want you to listen to my delivery tonight and give me like a breakdown at the end, right? So you can invest in that too, but you need that coachability in order to improve. And that coachability just improves when you have an analysis in place by people who are radically honest. And you need that, because the more, and I'm not saying destructive, I'm saying constructive, but radically and brutally honest, because through that we understand ourselves. Through that our belief grows and the desire to produce more, and that will translate into more commitment, right? Because all of a sudden our competitive edge comes out. This is where our ego serves us, because our ego drives and fuels our competitiveness, because we feel jealousy, which is great. I always say jealousy is beautiful. If you're jealous of something, that's just your competitive edge coming out and saying, hey, probably I can achieve something similar. Why are we still sitting here? So let's go, let's do that, let's achieve that, because that is the achieve addiction. Now, like I said, you are turning the focus into being addicted to success, to achieving something, which opens your eyes up. Illumination, ideas, inspiration, input, impulses, truthful information. Now I see what I can improve, because I'm getting addicted to achieving something important, and I'm not a victim of my negative talk, of my environment that is toxic, or the standards that I try to fulfill that are completely illusionary and non-logical, that I set up for myself so I have an excuse to fail. Because this is the perfect alignment syndrome, right? We just set up ourselves for absolutely delusional standards and say, if I can't achieve that, then I won't even start. And that is perfect alignment syndrome, right? We need to start, right? We don't need to be great in order to start, but we need to start in order to be great, right? So again, if we understand that the greatness that we expect from our future lies in here, in the way we absorb and transform and implement information, then we have created a very powerful cornerstone for our temple of success, for our cathedral of success. Does that make sense? Yeah, Melanie, that's a good different take on jealousy. Thank you so much. Let me also know, over there, wherever you're watching and listening to this, like, because I feel, again, how do you want to decode information? In a positive or a negative way? Because there are always polarized forces. There will always be polarized forces. There's always going to be a controversy. You can create a controversy in no time. You can just say no to something and it's just counter argumented to death, right? You just stand there, and this is how you create a controversy, even if you're not right. But is that fruitful? I don't think so. I always say, what gives you more acting potential? Where do you find more performance critical mass? Where can you go and tap into something and drain from it? By negating it, by saying that's bad and just suffering the consequences, by saying, oh, this is some destiny, karma, kismet type of bullshit. This happens to me because, I'm cursed or whatever. This is absolutely delusional stuff, to find excuses to not operate in an effective way, because usually that's our problem. To kind of say to ourselves, like, okay, I can't do everything. I'm not great at everything. So maybe I get some help. Maybe I get some other information. Maybe I will toughen up. But we need to definitely kind of, be that honest with ourselves if we really want to create that cathedral of success for us and for generations to come. Because one book can already change everything. One song, right? I think, like, once Sting was interviewed and he bought this huge land, olive ground, trees, and he is now producing olive oil in Tuscany, and it's like immense, right? I don't have the stats and the numbers, but it's really like a huge territory that he bought there. And they asked him, like, how expensive was that, right? To kind of, acquire this property in Tuscany. It's beautifully, you have this palace there, Renaissance, and it's fantastic, right? So how you can imagine, like, sometimes Italy looks when it's its best. And he said, it costed me one song, Roxanne. He paid for all this with one song. That's pretty powerful. So one song, one book, one line, one performance, one casting can really change everything. And I'm the living proof of that, right? One audition changed everything in my life. Wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have created a COACHMC studio. I wouldn't have got all the opportunities that I got. Probably, yes, in a different way. But definitely, looking back at my career, I was like, that one audition changed everything. So what are my strategies in order to improve? There are two ways. Let's say, again, we're public speakers, right? There are two ways of doing the public speaking thing, right? You can always have the ball, right? 1 hour, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, bada boom, and just deliver great notes, funny comments, little tricks, and just keep them, all the way through on a constant high energy output. We love that. That's beautiful. We can work on that. Or you say, no. I'm going to deliver a concept. I'm going to let them think about it. Whenever the questions are coming in, I'm going to deliver deadly counterattacks. That's another way of playing. And this is actually also, if you think about athleticism, if you think about soccer, there are two ways of playing soccer, basically, right? All the other coaches that claim otherwise, they just want to make a lot of money, right? Just two ways of playing soccer. Whether you have the ball all the time and you play for that, for having possession and scoring goals, because if you have the ball, right, you can't suffer a counterattack, or you're playing for the counterattacks. You're defending, and then you're storming forward as soon as you have the ball, and you're demoralizing them because you leave them the ball. But every time you got the ball, you create dangerous situations for yourself. There are two ways of doing that. Exactly. And you can also combine it in a certain way if you're really like dexterous. But there is this ability to respond. And this is where the magic kind of lies, right? The ability of response of your brain, of how you decode information, of how you deal with questions, on how you improvise something top of your head, and that is compelling and interesting and catches people's attention, right? It's this, and if you combine this It's responsibility. How crazy is that? So you need the ability to respond, right? And that ability gives you options. And that creates also the responsibility that now you have on your shoulders, because it's you. Whether you are holding the ball all the time or you're delivering those deadly counterattacks, clear, sharp, short, and valid arguments, right? Whatever you're trying to do there, it's always you who carries the responsibility. And that is the fun part. So Dragon Slayer, would it be safe to say that people that never start are afraid of struggle? Doing something new, no matter what, is always hard and long? I'm not sure they are. Yes, probably they are afraid of struggling. Probably it's their ego impeding them to kind of see, what lies beyond the horizon of suffering, which is greatness, right? And so therefore the ego is more kind of involved in the initial step, right, of kind of breaking through that inertia and saying, no matter what, I'm going to try this out now. I'm going to figure a way out of how to do this, right? And how to get better with my public speaking, with my acting, with my performing, with my writing. And so the ego doesn't want novelty. The ego hates novelty. That's the problem. It's that inertia that, oh God, I have to adapt to something new. I always say this, like in our brain, we have mental folders, and our brain at a certain point likes to take the path of least resistance to communicate with the neural connections, right? And all the neural clusters that we have billions, trillions of neural connections. And we want to make sure that, the paths that are connecting one string of information with the other one in our brain, is as fast as possible. That's why I say I love curves. I don't like straight lines that much, because curves gives us the possibility to gain more momentum. If you do this like this, there's this little experiment of two steel balls. One runs down on a slide that is straight down diagonally, and there is the other slide that is slightly curved. Guess what? The ball that has to go through the curve arrives faster, arrives first at its goal, because the momentum that comes out of the quote unquote suffering, which is just, breaking through the inertia, kind of accumulating that curve dynamic, gives you actually more credence, more authority, and more impact than the straight line. I love curves way more than straight lines. As an artist, I love curves way more, for sure. But this is what people get wrong. I need to get there fast. And this is what our brain hates to do, building curves and going, in different directions and creating new mental folders. And this is where we feel that initial inertia where we say, oh no, I have to take on a new task. So in order to break that, we have to kind of install new habits that are crazy, where our brain goes like, what is this all of a sudden? Why is this happening? And if you make it fun and entertaining, if you kind of, start telling your brain and give your brain like clear signals, hey, something new is coming in, then actually your brain starts to become your ally. And this is where the ego comes in handy, because all of a sudden it kind of makes you understand what competitiveness is. It's like, all right, cool. So let's make space for some new mental folders, shall we? And now they start cleaning up space, and now you can store it quicker. And now you've broken through your initial inertia, and now you're really understanding what you're doing. You're really absorbing the information effectively. Do you think the mentality of instant reward makes this even more prevalent? Yes, for sure. That's the problem, because we are looking for the instant gratification, for the immediate validation, for, oh, give me the gift, give me the gift, give me the gift. It's okay, right? If you look at Lord of the Rings, where Frodo asks the Sylvan elves that are passing by, that are, heading towards the west, right? It's like, hey, why don't you give me like a roadmap on how to get to this Moria thing and throw the ring directly into the volcano, and we call it a day. And the elf says, you know what? I could give you that shortcut. Yeah, for sure. I could give you a roadmap on how to get to Moria in a safe passage, and you don't have to worry about anything. But probably I would prevent you receiving the crucial information that will deliver to you the strength that you will need on that day to release the ring in the first place. So that wouldn't be a good advice at all. We would all be doomed. So sometimes, like I said, the curve is a really important factor to kind of build and fortify and solidify that cornerstone inside of ourselves, that we have to kind of, take in all modifications and learn how to effectively assess ourselves and understand who we truly are in this game, right? And understand how we can get better and effectively put those instruments into place. Physically, timely, spacely, like make sure that you can receive this information, that you're not distracted, that you are aware of what you're doing, of the importance and everything else, and that you make it also fun. I mean, it shouldn't be like, no, let's go to the moon, right? So if you look at it from this broader perspective, I want you to be your coach and implement the one thing that nobody really like talks about, is to effectively address afterwards what are you doing, because this is where most work happens, right? Everybody's so focused on, oh, let's create and execute, let's create and execute, let's create and execute. No, it's actually what comes afterwards. If you can take in why something is happening, what the reason was, you can reverse engineer that and get way quicker and way more effectively to a point of adjusting your production, right? Whether that's like understanding, oh, okay, I'm making this inflection, coming back to our hypothetical scenario, we're talking about public speaking, right? And it's like, okay, I'm still doing certain mistakes. Now I'm escaping into another mistake. I have to stop this. I need to create that mental toughness. I have to allow myself to fail. It's okay if I start, juggling with new words, because all of a sudden you start falling in love with the story and you're not focused anymore on the, no, it needs to be perfect from the delivery. No, I'm in love with the story. And this is where my passion comes in. And so, yes, even if I fumble a little bit, so what? The fumbling is just an indicator that I'm doing stuff that is new, and this is beautiful. As long as I can catch it and nobody perceives it, it might as well be part of the performance. So nobody cares anyways, right? I have the second tactical doodle I want to show you guys. And I know we're running through this pretty quickly, but I feel like if we're, let me also know in the future in the comment box, and also DM me on Instagram if this is too fast. But definitely you can watch also the replay. I don't want to drag this out too long, because I feel like, attention spams, we all are busy, and I want to give you the juicy stuff right away, and maybe have some time at the end to kind of answer some questions as well, right? Like we do during the open master classes. And by the way, the likes are going through the roof today. Thank you so much. This is amazing. We have 21 likes already. We see beautiful numbers. Thank you so much, guys. This is truly great. Smash the like button for this value proposition for sure. And again, if you want to talk about, let's say it's public speaking, and you want to talk about improving your speech, really understanding where your inconsistencies, inadequacies, and all that are, but not focusing too much on the negative aspect, just boosting whatever is great about you and magnifying that, and create a compelling story, whether you want to hold the ball forever or just play those deadly counterattacks, or maybe a combination of those two very effective strategies. Come over to the COACHMC studio, register. Let's have like a discovery session. Let's talk a little bit. Let's find out if we're a great match for each other. And then let's jump into a beautiful new adventure and creating something that is amazing for you. Because I want to help guys to really have that ability. I mean, if the community is able to communicate their ideas, whatever you guys are doing, then we're all growing and we're all thriving. And I see this as a mission for all of us. It's not just me who wants some likes and just making a couple of videos about that. I could do some other stuff with my time. No, it's really that I believe in talents and really believe in coming together. And also through the reflection, with you in this conversation, I learned so much. So I'm really grateful for these opportunities. Thanks so much for stopping by, everybody. Okay. What we got here is really interesting. So what is a carpet for? Yeah, you heard me right. Like a rug. What is a rug for? It's, just, Serena, I really like your website. Often I got to your website and just a website, and also here on YouTube channel. Thanks so much. Thanks for definitely for stopping by and creating with us. So what is a carpet for? What is a rug for? Okay, it's it's a play. It's like a woven type of material, right? It could be plastic, polyester, it could be cotton, it could be linen, it could be whatever, silk, right? So, but what is it for? I mean, we place it in our apartment for what reason exactly? Is it because it warms us up? It gives us coziness? I mean, is it to cover the floor that is not nice? Is it to, kind of reduce the echo, right? To kind of create a warm sound? What is a rug for? And the question goes here is like, okay, is it like, should I get one? Do I need a rug? Do I need a carpet in my home? And now we ask ourselves, yeah, probably. No, we don't. Or why should we get a rug? This is, I think, the most interesting question. Like, why should I get one? Because it makes me feel better about my home? What is a rug good for? Why are we producing so many carpets? And now you might ask, is the coach going insane? Why is he asking these questions about rugs and carpets? Like, what is this all about? Like, what is a scarf for? It covers us, right? It holds us warm. Why are we buying more scarves than we actually need? Well, what is coffee good for? To wake us up every morning. So every morning we need some coffee. It expresses your individuality to the entrance to your home. Yeah, for sure. That could be it. So it has different functions. A coffee has different functions. It depends on when you consume it. A scarf has different functions. It depends on when you dress up with a scarf or a foulard. How the French people like to say, oh, I'm dressing up with my foulard tonight. Oh, look at me. Oh, I'm such a fancy French guy with a foulard. Oh, I'm an exquisite, very specific, right, complicated, complex French woman with a foulard. Why are we wearing scarves? Why we are buying carpets? When are we drinking coffees? Our economy today is an economy of awareness, of attention. Right? Like right now, I'm battling for your attention. Please stay on the channel, right? I'm hoping not to come across as too needy. Also on the people on Facebook and Instagram, please, stick with us. Create some validator nodes for Facebook, for the algorithm, for Meta, for Instagram, for YouTube, for the Google research machine. Oh yeah. So attention is everything nowadays, and therefore, when we are giving our attention away, and we know where our attention goes, our energy flows, that means we are connected with something where our attention is right now. So the idea is that questions capture our attention, and therefore our energy flows into the analysis of why is he asking that, or what is the deal here, right? And Dragon's Lair commentaries, I mean, this is really like a beautiful comment, right? Because he says like, okay, so maybe a carpet is an expression of each individual household, and because this is how they like to welcome people to their home, which is like a very beautiful thought. I'm not sure if everybody thinks about like a welcome rug in this way, but he thinks in this way. This is what this question does to him. He starts kind of questioning the social, ecological, behavioral values of a household, which is truly interesting. With such a banal question: what is a carpet good for? What is a welcome rug good for? A scarf, a coffee, they represent a connection. And when we are starting to ask these questions, we are connecting to all these different scenarios in our head. Why should someone buy a scarf in Miami? Like the other day, we were shopping groceries. There was someone wearing a scarf in Trader Joe's, right? It's like, why is this person wearing a scarf? Maybe because of the AC. Maybe that person was sick. Maybe that person likes it as a fashion statement. Maybe that person feels more secure. Maybe there are psychological reasons for it, not practical reasons. So there are many, many beautiful things that can, kind of spawn out of this little exercise of asking yourself questions that might seem, to look on first glance to see, to like, what is this? This is nonsense. But hey, guess what? Art is nonsense. Art is pure luxury. The artist creates something that nobody needs, that is not necessary. So in order to create something that is amazing and at the same time not necessary, so to be a creator and at the same time to be not involved with your ego, say, okay, I can let this go, and you immediately look at something else. In order to have that type of mindset, you have to create something and ask yourself stuff that nobody else asks. So what is the carpet good for? Why are we drinking coffee in the morning and in the afternoon? Why are we wearing scarves? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? So the artist creates powerful things because he thinks about stuff at the edge of the box, at the edge of the frame. He doesn't share the common thoughts. And we should do the same when we think about like structuring our analysis about our performances, about our products and services, about how we like sometimes impact people. This could be also just a self-improvement class. This is not necessarily something that is like only and solely attached to any commercial interest. This could be just a self-improvement task for yourself, right? Because in the end, it's always like that. If we improve ourselves, just us, character-wise, we improve our products because we improve our communication. So therefore, this is a never-ending cycle of improvement, of growth. And that's why I love this topic so much. And the tactical doodles, I hope they help you to understand. To me, they definitely, I mean, they give me that type of insight. They let me explore a different facet about this. So as artists, we need to go as great communicators. And we all like, get this thought out of your head, guys, that being an artist means necessarily that you should be like crazy creative and absolutely like widely like talented. And like we are all artists nowadays within this connection economy that I just explained, this awareness economy that we're all in. We're all in awareness economy. Think about Elon Musk, right? He is like, it's his economy is not Tesla, it's not SpaceX. Come on. It's awareness. It's that, right? Information exchange, validator nodes, data clusters, neural networks. That's all he thinks about. Andrew Tate, Jordan B. Peterson, all these people, why are they so successful? Because they get a lot of attention. Why? Because they spark controversy. Why? Because they think in these polar terms. Why? Because they are aware of their product. Why? Because they analyze it effectively. Why? Because they're interested in getting better. Why? Because they are competitive and maybe they're also ego-driven. I'm not saying they're saints. Don't get me wrong. I don't say this is a model to copy all the time. It's just one aspect, one facet of getting better, of improving, of growing. Look, I've written here like the COACHMC studio, right? That's us. Welcome, everybody. Leave a like, right? And also book a class if you want. So the COACHMC studio, what is coaching for? What are we coaching here? Like there's nothing, maybe yes, a couple of things, but generally you can look this up on your own. The person wearing the scarf at Trader Joe's is wearing it because the owner of the store felt like setting the AC to 65 degrees despite it being 75 degrees outside. That's perfect. Have you been there, right? Why not say anything? You're in town? You're not stopping by? Yes, exactly. It was an environmental, purpose. Like it was an environmental reaction. But the person brought the scarf to the Trader Joe's because the person knew that Trader Joe's was, at 65 degrees. So the person was there. The pattern recognition was there. She reflected on it. And it's like, even if it sounds completely ludicrous, I'm going to wear the scarf right now in Miami because I know I'm going to go to Trader Joe's. I'm going to improve my performance. I'm not going to stand there for the 1000th time and say, oh, I should have brought a scarf because, hey, maybe I'm a bit more sensitive. That's okay. Nothing to judge here, right? I'm a bit more sensitive. I can get a cold easily. I'm a bit more whatever. So I take this, procedure of bringing the scarf with me. Right? No, but having lived in Miami, this is normal occurrence for sure. In our beautiful town it is. Ciao Lorenzo, ciao Giovanni. So again, what are we doing over here? What is our coaching for? What is coaching for in general? Because people, I think they get sometimes wrong what coaching could mean. Like people sometimes they write me, by the way, We love, getting your feedback. This is all about that as well. So write us, DM us, email us, hit us up for free trial sessions. Subscribe to the Telegram channel as well. To the, we have so many different outlets where we, propose so many different content forms and little info pills, also on TikTok. So definitely stop by. But what is our coaching for? What is it that we do as coaches? And I thought, and I'm always thinking about that, even though that again, that's like what type of question is that? I'm coaching people, so what is my coaching for? Is it to give them instruments that they can look up on their own, as well as what am I trying to create? Am I allowed to create? Am I entitled to think of, oh, this is my creation, or did this client, I've created him? No, I mean, we are partners in crime over here at the COACHMC studio, like quite literally, with all of our beautiful students and clients. And so what our coaching is definitely to give people, to create a chamber where people can incubate their own hero, their own leader, that they can finally develop that ability and that responsibility and that responsibility for themselves, where they understand, holy fuck, I can be a hero on my own. I can lead this into success. I don't always constantly need to double check and triple check and always get back. No, you can accumulate what you need along the path. Of course, exclude everything that you don't need, throw it out of the basket again, and then just head towards the Emerald City. That's it. So if we are at least acceptable coaches, this is what we can give people: that ability to solve cool, interesting, compelling, crazy, weird problems, right? Because acting, performance, art is all about crazy problems. They are cool, they are strange, they're weird, they are sometimes, dark, whatever, but they are not regular problems in terms of, hey, my sink is broke, they can be, right? In the production, sometimes you need to fix stuff left and right so you can focus on your art, but you get my point. When we're thinking about art, we're thinking about crazy problems, cool problems. So we want to give you all the tools necessary, or emphasize or magnify the tools that you have already and solidify them. And so you can, tackle with open heart and storm right in, right, where it hurts the most, because, this is where my future greatness is coming from. And so with a big swing, with a nice curve, I'm going to, catapult myself into this critical mass, and I'm going to have fun exploring all my failures and coming back and implementing, getting better, and having that, right, to solve cool problems, to come up with ideas, to have the right spirit, to be stupid, to allow yourself to be stupid, to not have all the answers. And this is where poetry happens, in my opinion. And what I mean by that, this is the poetry of life. This is the poetry of creation. Now we're becoming poets of our own poem. When we are, encouraging people to lead, to finally take over, their life, take control of their operations, we are not telling them, go down the safe path, right? Just follow the yellow brick lane. We tell them, you have to go into unknown territory. Over here at the COACHMC studio, it's not about, hey, I give you everything and you just repeat that. We explore with you. We don't leave you alone, for sure, but we want you to go where it hurts. We want you to go where it's unknown, where it feels weird, where it feels like not completely comfortable, because most likely there where we are scared to go, this is just an indicator, again, of our ego, because our ego knows, oh, fuck, if she goes there, it's going to be a lot of work, and that means a lot of greatness. So your ego is just a little bit afraid of that initial, cleaning up mental space, basically, and admitting that there is something that you don't know. And in order to do that, you have to risk. You have to risk something. If you don't risk something for what you love, you might as well, and no offense intended, you might as well become an accountant. My mother was an accountant, financial controller, so right, no pun intended here, right? I'm speaking out of family business. Sicilian accountant, if you understand what I mean. Come in, sit down. What can I do for you, right? No. a serious financial controller, a real account, not a Sicilian one, right? For a Swiss company. No, but you get my deal, right? It's just like you have to risk something, right? Leaders risk. And of course, by risking, they have to solve problems, because now you are in the risk for what you love business, and now you're generating because you are, and this is the crazy thing, there are words that sometimes are kind of colluding, they are conspiring with each other. They're not really the same, they're not necessarily coming from the same root, but they are colluding, they're conspiring. Generating comes from generosity, right? So you risk for what you love, you allow yourself to fail, you know, put a lot of effort into that. That is generous, right? You kind of, you know, sacrifice some energy, which is the most precious thing that we have, time, and therefore you generate, because, you know, time generates, energy generates back. Newton's law, right? It's the equal amount of force pushing back to the incoming force. So the more you generate, the more push, the more traction, the more dynamic you will develop for yourself. And Seth Godin, the great Seth Godin, read Purple Cow, read Lynchpin, follow his blogs. I got his blogs for years now. You know, once in a while, I don't always, like, I used to really daily look at his blog because he's writing a blog every day. And now I'm just coming to it sporadically, not like I used to, but it's still great. And Purple Cow really changed my life. Lynchpin, all great books. Permission to Marketing, great books. And so Seth Godin talks about this process and says it's the habit to dance with fear. And I kind of like that. It's a nice way to put it because it's charming. Again, it's poetic. It's a bit stupid, therefore it's poetic, right? Because in love, we do stupid stuff, and that's necessary. So you have to do new stuff. You have to be a pioneer of your own art, of your own communication. That's a challenge for sure, right? Yeah, because you're deciding consciously and actively to love innovating. I'm a chef's table addicted, right? If there's one program, I mean, give me an island, give me something to watch, I would say Chef's Table over everything else, even over Friends, even over Beverly Hills 90210, which I'm watching currently. Third season just finished. Amazing. Watch Beverly Hills 90210, some great acting. We're doing those lunch sessions in front of Beverly Hills 90210, and I highly admire those actors. I never watched it before in my life. Now I'm watching it with my wife, and it's amazing entertainment. But if there would be like one show that I would take on the island, would be Chef's Table, because I learned so much. I love cuisine. I love cooking. I'm a let's say decent chef myself, and so there is this story in Chef's Table about this chef that is a 3-star Michelin chef. That's the highest rank that you can, you know, that you can fulfill. Right? This is the king elite stratosphere of cooking worldwide, right? His restaurant, Alinea, right? Let's make some promotion for him because he's an artist. In Chicago, Illinois, 26th best restaurant in the world, 3-star Michelin chef. So it's amazing, right? He can definitely, like, out of just for his reputation, for the rest of his life, he could just propose the same food for the rest of his life. He would still be, you know, sold out, booked out pretty much every night. And what he does is he scraps all his menus every 3 months regularly, because he decided actively to love innovation more than anything else. And there is Warren Buffett, who says, whether you're the first, or you're the best, or you're the weirdest, and to decide to love innovation is definitely like a weird feature, which will give you the most outcome. Again, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, all weird people. Very weird people. Billionaires, these high achievers are weird people. I'm not totally normal myself. I wouldn't describe myself a high achiever, but I'm definitely like a high achiever in terms of creative output. Yes. Yeah. So I can create a lot during the day in many different ways and avenues and alleys of creativity. I can go in different alleys every day. And so therefore, yes, you might call me weird as well, but this is the Trinity. Maybe you achieve to be all three things at the same time. But again, the weirdest is also the artist. So in this connection economy where we all are connected, where we all, kind of immediately taking information, throwing information, taking information, where everybody's battling over our attention, we all have become artists. Because if our content is not beautiful, it hasn't a motif, it's not delivered with a certain technique, with an unclear message, right? If it's not representing one of those things, it has no impact. So therefore we all are artists, because artists, they are the problem solvers, but they're also the ones who are asking themselves, do I want more of this or less of that, or vice versa? The artist is always there to challenge the status quo, to always love innovating, and to say, okay, do something new, scrap that, do something new, scrap that, do something new. This is where we suppress our ego, right? Because it's not important what I have created. It's important what will come next. And therefore I have to kind of solve that. And that's powerful, because the artist thinks about stuff that is not necessarily necessary, and therefore it's truly necessary because it's a statement. A Bugatti is a truly unnecessary car, and that's why it's so expensive, because it's such an impressive statement, right? Nobody thinks about a Toyota Camry about being an impressive statement, because it's such a common car. It's absolutely useful, and therefore it's not necessary to show off with a Toyota Camry, because it's just a useful car. But a Bugatti is a powerful statement because it's luxury. And only an artist can think about that stuff. And luxury can happen everywhere, and the delivery and the information and the value and the content. Like, luxury is everything that you define, wow, this has a lot of value for me, right? This is a revolution. This makes me kind of regenerate. This is also the Indian Trinity, again, Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, right? Shiva is the revolution. We regenerate through Vishnu, and the resource, Brahma, is opening up, is creating all this. So if we are always living at this edge of the box, of the frame, and we're always trying for, let's paint that first. Let's go where it's uncomfortable first, because by that we can figure out the rest that is comfortable. Then we are, we are in this habit of creating a poem every day at 5 p.m. Like, ask yourself, how can I create a poem every day at 5 p.m.? Or ask yourself again, what is smart, what is scary, what is interesting about my work? Because the quality goes a little bit against the practice sometimes. Practice is cool, but again, how do we know that we're practicing the right stuff? My resume is impressive, but it's not a demonstration that I'm a great team worker. That comes from somewhere else. Again, from risk-taking, from generously loving and embracing amazing content and making that a habit, to dance with fear, to sometimes screw up. But this is where we get the most feedback. And this is where we improve the quality. And when we improve the quality, doesn't matter how crazy we are, we have a market, guys. And we need that. We are in the connection economy. We need a market. So I guess today, again, I want you to just think about, is your analysis program strong enough? Is it effective enough? Is it honest enough? Like, do I have all the right techniques to emphasize my message, my narration, right? Is there any way I could test this out? Again, Seth Godin says, who fails the most wins. That means who fails the most is the one who tries the most, right? I mean, famously, Jordan in his interview, many other athletes said, oh, I missed so many shots that were crucial for the game. I missed so many finals, right? I've lost so many games, right? They're focusing on, on why they failed so much. Because why is Jordan saying that as a statue for his greatness? Because he said, out of my failures, I've learned, and that made me actually great. It's not just that, woohoo, inborn talent, I'm just great, I never fail. No, that doesn't happen. It's just not realistic. It's delusional to aim for that. And maybe it's an excuse to not invest in the real work, because you say, hey, oh yes, Jordan, he was just, the strongest, the best, whatever. He didn't really need to kind of train or exercise. That's nonsense, right? Every great athlete, every great sportsman, every great artist needs to exercise a lot in order to perform magnificently. And by the way, I once, I I was guest at Tony Kukoc's house once for 6 days straight. And Tony Kukoc being the famous number 7 of the Chicago Bulls who won everything. And he said, actually the greatest athlete, he doesn't really think Jordan was the one who was training the hardest, or let's say the most committed. He said that Rodman was the most committed. He was the one who was analyzing the tapes more than anyone else. To be a rebound king, you need to kind of clearly, sharply assess how the adversary is moving, like where he usually goes, kind of get a pattern out of his muscular reaction and put that into your subconscious. So you react before the other one reacts, because you now can read the movement. So again, it's all about analysis. And this is the feedback loop. This is the feedback loop that great athletes put into place, right? So you might ask yourself, like, it might not work out, all right? I'm trying something new. I might fail, all right? But let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. The artist likes to figure stuff out, right? Maybe I need new color. Maybe I need another brush. The other day, that was a couple of months ago, actually, I met with a gallerist, and he took a look at my art, and he said, you need to do that. Right? You need to improve a little bit. You need to kind of raise your standard for the Miami clientele, right? They want something else over here, rather than, Chicago, New York, or LA or Frisco, right? Galleries over here, they're looking for other stuff. So I need to put in the right techniques in order to kind of make my message heard with that new application, with that adjustment that my gallerist gave me. And that might not work. It might not work in the beginning, right? I have to figure out the right components, the right, fabrics, the right instruments in order to kind of achieve that. And so far I haven't. I'm still in the process of figuring it out. I haven't really started yet, because there's so much other stuff that I need to do. But of course I started doing the research and everything. But this is how we do it, right? And then we see what the result is. And then if that works, right, out of that, we get the wisdom, and we scale the wisdom. We constantly scale the wisdom. That's all we do. This is a successful performance, scaling your wisdom. And it's not perfect, it's daily. And daily means not perfect. Like I said, it's a connection economy. And like I said before, we like over here at the COACHMC studio, if there's one thing, we love to kind of inspire people to become leaders, sharing our most powerful tools so they are finally feeling comfortable with risking and loving generously what they're doing and creating amazing stuff, right? And allowing themselves also to fail, of course. And by that, they become heroes. Because again, we are not admiring the hero till the end of the movie. Throughout, and Dragon Slayer Commentaries and we've covered the Hercules episode with our last open class doodles about Greek mythology. You might as well check it out. It's great because we learn a lot about business, because the hero actually fails, or at least he has to go through, very, very strong suffering, hardmanship and bad labor. And in the end, we admire him because he gets the virgin, the crown, and the kingdom. But before that, for 88 minutes straight, he had to face the dragon. So we have to face the dragon. And here it is. Once you become acquainted, you make a habit of solving problems that are cool. This is where, again, you start understanding, hey, if I continuously do that to pioneer and challenge myself and trying to kind of create new products all the time, I start creating a legacy quite naturally without even focusing on that. I wrote down here is like, make bad art, right? Because people think, oh, it has to be perfect. Again, make it bad, right? Make it bad. Make bad art. Let's see how that works out. Of course, we want to do great art. So try to make the worst piece. And if we're focusing on that, then all of a sudden our intellect subconsciously starts to fill out the gaps, and we will kind of see that like, oh, we're getting better, more traction, more confidence, more thickness, more juice, more critical mass, more interesting stuff to talk about. And now we're you know, if I think about, again, like, what is it that we do as artists in this connection economy and this awareness economy? You know, we create luxury products that are not necessary. That's why these are the stuff that are like, are we dreaming of the Toyota Camry? Yes, maybe at a certain point we dream of the Toyota Camry. If we're like, of course, our wishes, our desires, our needs, they change, of course, throughout our life, right? In the beginning, maybe when we're 18 or 16, like, oh yeah, Toyota Camry is a great car. But later on, maybe we're dreaming for a Bugatti or a Lamborghini or a great bicycle. Like, you get the deal, right? So dreams are about stuff that are not necessary. So how crazy is that? We live in an economy where we actually create our fortune by doing something that nobody actually needs, but everyone wants. In order to do what? Like Dragon Slayer commentary said. Because he said something amazing here. Again, it's to express your individuality to the entrance to your home. Here, you have a certain individuality that you want to express. And that goes through that process. And now it doesn't really matter what story we tell. We're always going to express that individuality. That's going to be interesting. These are the dreams. These are the signals. These is like, now I'm feeling it. The great thing about the arrow is the moment you let it go, it will reach its goal. The longer you hold on to the arrow, the more force it will cost you. And the longer you have to wait until you reach your bullseye. You can think about the trajectory as much as you want. Yeah, about the wind and all that. That's beautiful. That's, again, the structure that goes beyond. Before, like, that's the preparation, right? You think about the wind, you think about moisture, you think about speed, you think about the direction where the target is. But at a certain point, you just need to have the confidence that you have done everything that you could. And in order to give this thing a trajectory, you have to let it go. Otherwise, it will never reach its goal. That's the crazy thing about the arrow. Right? In order to connect, we need to let go. And here we have a swordfish. I like to think about animals that are strange. Because I always think, like, what is this exactly? What is a swordfish? My favorite animal is a giraffe. Let me know in the comment section below what your favorite animal is. The swordfish represents Sicily, my country where I'm coming from. You could also say that Sicily is represented by tuna fish, but swordfish especially is like a typical Sicilian. Like, this is something that stands for Sicily. Okay, so the swordfish. What? It's a fish with a sword. Have you ever thought about that concept, that there is a fish swimming with a sword attached to its head? How crazy is that? So I like to think about those weird things. I mean, how does a giraffe come into place? I mean, what? A giraffe? Like, this is a huge animal without any arms, just these 4 long-winded legs. It looks weird. It's like, you know, how does this animal come into being? How does a swordfish come into being? And we think about these not necessary things to think about, and they make us actually think about other unnecessary things. And all of a sudden we start connect those unnecessary things, and we start all of a sudden there is a formula that kind of surfaces. It's like, oh, look at this. So in nature as well, if you are the weirdest, there's a high chance, a high probability for you to survive and thrive. If you are the weirdest, again, a giraffe is super weird. Rhinoceros is super weird. A whale is super weird. Swordfish is super weird. Super weird pays off, but not just for the sake of it. The super weird comes in the process of creating. You get a bit weird as an artist. Yes. Of course, that's beautiful, because that's your uniqueness. And here we have re, which in Italian is the king. It's an ancient word for the king and for the sun. It's the ancient Egyptian term of re or Ra, the spiritual sun, not the physical, the spiritual sun. The symbol or the god for the physical sun was Horus, of course. The 12 steps of Horus on the horizon, the day, the 12 hours of the day. We talked about that with Dragon Slayer commentaries as well. But Re or Ra is the regeneration inside of us. The regeneration is the re-evolution, and that's our resource. It's endless. Don't believe the hype. You have endless resources inside of you. There's always a new way on how to look at things, and always take it from the positive angle. Always try to get access to the critical mass. Always try to find, this is interesting. Like, okay, it's probably difficult to achieve that. And wow, there is some negative feedback here coming, but probably this is just a sign, because when there is a wall of resistance, right, usually behind that, there is something interesting to discover. It wouldn't be there just for no reason. Right, and our curiosity likes, kills the cat instinct, likes to go there, and that's okay. Follow it up. So do that. Do new stuff in order to accumulate wisdom, because wisdom is the one quality that gives us that ray. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Okay, then I applied slightly different to this. Now, then I try apply it to this, and all of a sudden it becomes more and more and more. And now you start manipulating and getting more and more people around it. And then again, right? Reinvent, regenerate, redeem. That's your resource. I love to kind of play with words, to kind of analyze them a bit more also in a visceral way, so they give us more information. Simona Santanucita, ciao carissima, come stai? So guys, I guess my invitation, my love letter to you guys, to invite you to think about your analysis process in a bit more granular way, and to assess more effectively how your performances are going and why they're going or why they're not going, because that ultimately, that post-performance structure builds our legacy more than anything else. The creation nowadays, to create, we all are inspired to create. I see pictures all over the place from nonsensical moments. That's why Instagram is so popular. Again, the artist produces stuff that is not necessary, right? Like a beautiful female leaning against the balcony from a skyscraper. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so is that necessary? No, but it's beautiful. I give it a like. So that connection economy comes from that thought that everything has a certain value once it's expressed through the process of solving a problem or coming up with a solution. And therefore, again, also this clinks into the Ikigai session that we had, which I highly recommend you to check it out if you haven't so far, because it's a kind of, all of these sessions, they're kind of connected to each other. They're also a way of implementing the training program and the courses that we have over here at the COACHMC studio. And if you're interested in that training program as well, please make sure to contact me through readytoperform.com. Send me a message. Let's set up a discovery session. Let's have a quick chat, and let's find out what you want to do. If our narrations can be combined to a bigger narration to involve more and more spectators into your auditorium, into your cathedral of success. And like I said, the next open class doodle is going to be with my man, Dragon Slayer Commentaries. We're going to complete this first trinity of Greek mythology, which is super fun. We're going to talk about the Battle of Troy and the Odyssey, the Iliad. That's the last and most recent part of Homer's tales, right? Starting from the first age of the gods to the age of the heroes, to the city battles, and how, what we call the most recent history was formed according through Homer's eyes that were blind, which is very fascinating. A blind guy that can tell about so much about the history, right? So we're going to explore that. It's going to be a geeky one. Then we have a beautiful acting alphabet episode coming up as well. We're picking up on that chain of events as well. We're not going to leave anything behind. We're going to tackle everything this year, trying to be super successful, having a lot of fun exploring all these incredible topics. I will just say this at the end. Just of course, Rosita, thanks to you guys for showing up. I just want to say this. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for the many likes today. You really kind of humbled me. That's beautiful. Let's try to ramp that up a little bit more. Thanks so much, Serena, for stopping by. Thanks so much for the live, as you always say, and nowhere. I'm ready to perform for sure. Love the stream. Loved for you stopping by. Thanks so much, Dragon Slayers, Giovanni, Serena, Cal Classic Cage. Thanks so much, Sasha, for stopping by, and everybody else. Also on Facebook and Instagram. It was a great pleasure. See you next time with the next open class. Hit me up on Saturday
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Hypnotics channel, when it's time for the Saturday Night Hypnosis with my man Dragon Slayer, with the Gooch, with Ryan Arja Ethe, with Leon, our trans liberal, with so many great people. I can't believe that I'm part of such a great panel. It's so much fun to hang out with these folks. And otherwise, see you over here at the COACHMC studio next week. You can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok as well. Get my Telegram channel where I inform you also, from other events. If you're a bit more local to the Miami area, we get some personal notes, some art stuff as well. And, see you next time, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope this helped. Definitely it helped me. And now you're ready to perform. Thank you.